Okay, so last time I did that number operator. I'm sorry. Last time I did that random number generator. I've got two things going on at once. And one of them has to do with a number operator, and another one has to do with a random number generator and a rational mapmaker function. This mapmaker function right here that has nothing in it, but it's going to have to do something with the game model. So right now, what I really want to do is I want to take all this stuff that's actually making a map and making a, well, I guess all this stuff that's doing something that might be making a map, all like the create map, the add room, and all that stuff, and shove it over here in the mapmaker function. So we create or mapmaker class. Okay, like that. So we want to make this mapmaker class, use that to put things together, and then actually do things with it. All right. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. So our mapmaker will have, what will it have to have? It'll have to have, in the end, I think what it'll have to have is a file, right? So it'll have a size and a level and a file equals none. The size should be larger than our screen. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. I think probably what I want to do is have its size be a total size, do I want, or do I want the size of a zone? Probably the size of a zone. And we'll just start off with 300. No, 300 is a lot. So we had a room that was 5 by 5. Actually, I think it was 3 by 3. And 5 by 5 if you include the outer bits. So probably we want our minimum size to be a little bit larger. We probably want maybe 49 by, so probably somewhere on the, it's still pretty large, 150 by 150 by 1, right? No, we don't need that. We want that in our levels. Maybe we don't need the level should be whatever it is, 1, and we need zones equals 1. I'm going to start with just one zone. I'd like that really to go from like 4 to 9, and I'd like that to have levels and stuff like that. So we might, but that would be something for the file. So when we actually create a file to make these, that'll tell me the number of random zones to make. So actually, probably that should come out. The level number should be important because that's going to tell us, that's not something the file should tell us, that's something the story should tell us. Does this come before or after the whichever level? And that way you can scale appropriately the strength of what's going on in the level. The size, again, probably should come from, maybe it should come from the file. We'll leave it in the mapmaker. All right. And maybe scale should be equal to 1. So you need a self scale. No, we don't need that. We only need that to end, right? So but let's leave it in there and see if how we want to do it. Self size or self x is equal to 150. Self y is equal to 150. self level is equal to 1 and self file is equal to none, or is equal to file. And actually we should probably not use none. File is going to be blank file, because we're not going to make that file for quite a while. All right, and when we make that, we should self initialize map. We need to def initialize map. That should give us self.row. Okay, we should get rows and columns. So self.map equals row equals nothing. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to add in the map, just blank tiles, right? We just want blanks in this thing right now. So for I in range self.x, row equals blank. For j in range self.y, column dot, no, we don't need to add a column, row dot append, none. I guess none will be fine. If there's anything in there, it'll be a number. That number will tell us what to do with it. All right, so then we have self.map.append list row. Now I do the list row because that makes a new list that gets appended to the self map. And the row is going to be emptied out here, because otherwise this is just going to give me, 3 sets of the same thing. That might not be something I have to worry about now, but I think it's probably good practice to think about it that way. And this makes a map of blank squares. So that's initializing our map. Then we need to def make map self. Here possibly we might want the scale. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we actually want to pass out of this, so I'm going to pretend like I care about the scale now. And possibly whatever we do later to make the substitutions, we'll come back to this make map thing. So probably in the real world, when we actually use this, we want to run the map maker once, and we want it to pop out a map, right? But first thing when we do this, what we do is we come in here and we initialize our map, and now we want to make it. Okay. Let's see. This is sort of stuff that we do afterwards, right? So we'll deal with that later. Now we'll want to have an add room in there. So let's do that. So I am really just pretending like everything's going to be okay already, right? And that got appended right in the middle. And in fact, what we probably want to do here is we just want to get these ones and zeros in this particular map we have. So so we're adding the room with this data. So we're coming through here, and so we're saying self map add square. We don't need to add a square here because we've already got a big matrix, right? So we're saying somewhere in this matrix we are going to put our object. And that should be append data row column. That should not be an append, actually. What should that be? That should be self map row plus the offset in X, and the column plus the offset in Y, is equal to that. So actually we probably ought to start using the rooms at this point as well. So our map maker here, the first thing to do is just do self add room. Room 0, 0. So that's actually adding a particular room in there. So probably should come back over here and steal the rooms. I'm not sure. We're going to use them for some things occasionally, but I think we're really just using, well, we'll also use the rooms for AIs. Okay. So since we'll also use them for AIs, maybe they shouldn't get moved here. But I will put this thing in here. And I will block this out. Okay. So that the room class will probably be gone in the future. So if it does anything really bad, we'll find out. Okay, tools go. All right, and let's return self map right now. Probably what it's going to do is it's going to return a map made out of the self map that we'll have to make some more adjustments to. Let's see what happens if at the bottom here I just say map equals map maker. What do I need? I don't need anything, so it'll be fine. Let's run. So no problems with that. Just don't know anything about it. Print map.map. MapMaker has no attribute. Okay, so for some reason, oh, duh. Is that true? Okay, for some reason, okay, so this is strange. Why did I? Oh, I probably. Okay, I did too many of those little dots. No. Got in this time. Doesn't like how I called initialize map. Alright. I can make any mistake. Alright, so let's see. So I run this. And I get some crap. And here it outputs the entire map for me. So I didn't actually put anything in the map. So let's do map add room. None 0 0. Print map. It already looks like it's taking too long. Okay. Oh, I need a map. Not a map, a map. Maybe I do need a map, but I right now just care about my map. Printing slows things down, actually. So obviously something happened because it's offset. So you see the way I did it. I've got something going on. I'm not sure if it's exactly the right thing because I have to go 150 before there's a new row, but I can do one thing, right? So this should be, if I'm doing everything consistently, then possibly that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not turning this into a really cool thing yet. So at least that's consistent. So we've got a way to put things in there. Now, we'll need something to be able to check for overlaps when we do these things, but that's fine. Let's see. So we've got all this stuff going on. We take one room and we put it in there. Okay, that's fine. Let's try map out text. If j, print j, else print. Okay, so I just want to do that to see if I can make it look a little bit nicer when we output it. Okay, so that is too large. There we get these ones. Zeros get counted as not for an if statement. I forgot that, so gives me that. But that's fine. We've got our little room showing up there. 150 by 150 is probably much too large. Let's say 25 by 25. Tools go. So now at least it only shows up for the 25 by 25. Still quite large, actually. But I could always just put real numbers in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Just a little bit paranoid. No, that works. Let's offset it by 5. And actually, we ought to add another. So offset it by 5, 5. We get over here, and we get the same output order. So everything's perfectly fine. Why wouldn't it be? So let's see, let's go back up here. Okay, so room 1 equals room 1. So we can do things with it. Because right now we're just trying to make the map maker make a map. Making it better, breaking that up again is something we can do, but right now we just want it to make a map. And that's fine. Adding the room center is not going to help us do this. Let's see. And we want more than one square. So we'll have to make a find center later on rather than rely on my intuition. Okay, so we're going to make 2 rooms, one at 0, 0 and one at 29, 19, or 27, 19. What was it? $27, 19. Okay. So if we can make this do exactly the same thing, then we'll be fine. All right. So I need to make map. I need to use make map. That's why it doesn't look like it's doing anything differently. Okay, so the room has to know who the map is. Is that true? Oh, the room is right here. Oh, it needs an ID and a self-random. Okay, so random equals none. And actually, we can just do that here. We can just say none until we care about putting things in there. Okay, so I saw it. It seems to be much larger than I thought it should be. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so the rows and the columns are switched up. Column, row. No, that's probably fine. Row. Probably doesn't matter at all. Self Y, self X. Tools, go. Okay, still going in the right order, so that's good. And now I think that's farther away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So row, column, row, okay. Okay, now it's all the way farther. Oh, it's farther out there. Still seem to be more of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Still seem to be more blank spots than I asked for. Oh. Okay, so that's almost the same size map. It's a little bit larger, so we can put things in it. And eventually I'll make smaller regions to put things in. But right now we just want to add 2 rooms. That's fine. So hopefully later on we can have some character to that. But now we don't have any character. Alright, now we're going to have to add a self-corridor class. Room 1, room 2. So it's going to go from room 1 to room 2 and make a corridor. We might have to make temporary things to make this work. I'll figure that out in a second. Okay, so I really do have to do something with these rooms to figure out exactly what their coordinates are and stuff like that. So let's see, if we add all the rooms together, we have a self-center that we probably ought to find by averaging the positions of all the other objects. I'm not sure that I'd like to do that with this. Well, actually, I mean, that's what we can do. And later on, what I can do is I can do something fancier when I have more interesting rooms. But I mean, we could just sum these positions. So we have x, y for all of these different positions, right? Equals 0, 0. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then I come over here and I guess I have to have an n equals 0 and plus equals 1 and let's see, how do we do this? X plus equals column plus off y. I don't know, probably y, and x plus equals row plus off x. Then when we get to the end, we say x equals, or divide equals n. I think I can do it with a double slash, so it turns into an integer. And y divide equals n. That could end up being a problem. Then we set the center, and the center is supposed to be a square. And we don't actually have that square. Now what I want to do is I want to make the template here. So what I'm just going to add the center here as a tuple. And I put room down here, so somewhere ahead, get center. If self.center, or type self-center, equals tuple. I don't have to do anything, right? either a tuple or a position or a square for a central tile. So I just have to set center. I have to set center again later on when I do this. I have to reset the center so that it's a square that's probably the center part from the central tile or something like that. We'll figure that out when we get to it. Okay, and I need an add corridor. Self room 1, room 2. Return none. And okay, so this adds a randomly shaped corridor between rooms. All I want to do is not have any errors. And so I have no errors. Everything is fine. I'm good. So now let's try to make a corridor between these two rooms. Okay. So what we're doing is we are redoing this bit, right? We're redoing all of this so that we have all of the rest of what we need. Okay, so let's just get that. So we need a starting position, an ending position, and all that stuff. So, but the major logic inside is just the same. Okay, so this is room 1.get center. It's room 2.get center. We might need to also get some sizes for these things. So, I mean, so previously when I did this, I found the tiles randomly, right? I gave two choices for what would be the good end and start tile, right? I'm fixing that now. I'm changing that out now. I'm swapping that out. So now I need to first, I think I need to find the relative positions of these things. So dx equals end x minus start x, dy equals end y minus start y. So now we've got sort of a region that we're working with. And unfortunately now a pad of paper comes out. So we've got these rooms, and now we've got deltas. So the deltas basically tell us the directions between the rooms as well. If they're negative, they're going one way. If they're positive, they're going the other way. So let's see. We first have to decide is, are we going to go x and then y, or y then x, right? So, or which one of these sides do we take? So all right, so we basically have a sine, I think. We need a signum sort of function. Equals, okay, if dx does not equal 0, sine x equals 0, or equals dx divided by abs dx. Else, this is getting too long, sine x equals dx, or equals 0. And the same thing for y. Okay, so let's see. Well, we can, well, I guess we also have two choices for each one of these points. Oh, this is the hard part. So previously I chose these edges, and when I chose these edges, I used sort of where they were to decide what their possibilities were. Now, instead, I'm probably going to have to do something like this. I'm going to have to say direction is equal to the random choice. I need a self-random. Did I send myself a random? I did send myself a random, but I'm not sure if that's the thing. So I'll give myself a random 100 for this. It's importing from game model import everything, so just do random right now. So we're asking our own random number generator for a choice between horizontal, 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 vertical, vertical, horizontal, vertical, vertical. And those correspond to the three choices we had before. So is it horizontal opening, a vertical opening, horizontal opening, vertical opening? Possibly we should make the rooms remember which one is which, so that we can add more doors in different locations. Let's see. We'll have to decide that. We only need one per room right now. So we have if the stuff is stuff. So if these should be strings. Probably they should actually be numbers rather than strings, like 0 through 1, or maybe a pair of booleans to save space. But we're not really doing spacey things, so because it's Python. So let's see if dir is equal to HH. Then we have, this is actually a horizontal vertical, right? But we'll just do all of them in the order that they are up there. Horizontal, vertical. Vertical, horizontal, and the other choice. It's actually not, those aren't the only choices actually. The way we've put it together they are, but they could be level. In which case we'd have to do something else. If they're level, it's only going to be a straight line between them. So we can add that code in later. That should just be an else, but since there are only 4 choices, this is it. So let's see, for HH, what we do is we go horizontally out, down, and then horizontally across. So we go horizontal ABS, dx plus 1. So it's going, or dx divided by 2 plus 1. So that's going to go halfway through, go straight down. We're not adding squares. We're just going to the self map. And we are saying that if self map, or if not self map, remember this guy doesn't know the difference between empty and wall. So if it's either a 1, if it's either a 0 or a none, it's going to write over that. So self map. X plus I, right? So let's say, well, I guess we're starting at ST and going to Y. So we do that, we go across, then we have to go down. So that's in range, the range of the absolute value of dy. And I think then I multiply by the sine x here. And then I come to the next one. And I stop with that. Now I'm adding on the j's. So plus j times sine y. So actually I'm just drawing from center to center. If I'm not overwriting, then I don't have to worry about where the edge is. Okay, and then I need another one sort of like this. So this will take me to the end y. And I change this to k. So I do I plus k. And that should get me all the way through. Let's see. Now I'm doing horizontal vertical. This is very similar here. I just go all the way across. And this is very similar as well. Go all the way down. So my only difference here is this should be dx. And hopefully that will do. Oh, and I did ABD instead of ABS. VH is vice versa. So we start with this guy, I sine y, and then this is j sine x and I sine y. I've got a really good chance of having screwed this up. All right. And now we do vertical, vertical here. So edy y plus this stuff, or sty plus that stuff. Then we have edx here. J and I believe. And then just stx, and this is sine y and sine y. Okay, let's see how much I've broken. didn't I just have this problem? I had this problem last time. It's got to be something really stupid. Okay, we'll just shove the random in here for now. Because, I mean, it's important. I should be able to do this, and it's late at night, and I don't want to screw around while I'm live worrying about this. So, hopefully this will do. Oops. Oh. Okay. I didn't assign anything. Hmm. Okay, so it should go to HV. Does anything weird happen on the other side? Okay. So it is deciding which one of these things to do. It is choosing, for example, this is HH. So let's print so it's getting in there. Oh. You know, programming already makes you feel stupid. Then doing it while talking to a bunch of other people doesn't help either. It's sort of like teaching that way. Okay, so that didn't quite make it, and it should have been the other way. So this should be HH. Or did it go too far? Not only did it do that, it went too far. HV, VH, VV. Why the jump? I don't understand that. Right, I don't understand why there's jumps. Now I'm in HH, let's see. Okay, J is initially 0. Okay, so I'm going to make this asymmetric. Seven comma. Okay. Okay, so I shouldn't have changed that thing. Okay, it seems to be about right. Okay, so okay, so this could be just an apparent change. So let's go here, make these all type 2 tiles. What that means, I don't know. I didn't make up a type 2 tile, but I want to make sure it's not overwriting. Oh, and I forgot to change this back to 1 dot. So the whole point of this was okay. That does almost what I want. It is overwriting just a slight bit over here. So let's see. Oh, these things. That's why I started, and that's why you're supposed to evaluate these before you put them in the stupid whatever it is. Okay, so got rid of those. So I've got 2 rooms and a corridor connecting them. Okay, and that's for HH. Okay, so we need to get some of these other ones in just to see that they're a little bit better. Okay, so that's a different one, fine. It's not perfect. See, we need a +1 somewhere in there. So this should be horizontal, vertical. So it needs this plus 1. So it'll have to be this plus 1 as well. Okay, so now we've got that corridor going from place to place. Got one zone right now. We've got one room, and we're connecting rooms. But we're at an hour 17 for this. So we'll just... So we've got this as our output. This is what our map maker is making right now. We'll call that a win for now. Now we'll have to... Now that we've got the basic room thing worked out and the basic connection thing worked out, what we need to do is we need to go to probably this stuff up here, where we're doing all this stuff with the Wizard of Guff and Guffy McGuffface and stuff like that. So I don't think we really get to mark off any of these. We can connect the rooms in a zone, but we haven't done anything to say, here's how we're going to make sure that every room is connected, right? Every room has to be connected to either a corridor or another room, right? And, well, basically every room in a zone has to be connected to each other with some sort of path. And then every zone has to be connected at least with one other, has to be connected as well. So we have to do something to make that work. Hopefully that doesn't involve too much. So I'll call this a win, and we'll go on for the next time. We'll go on for next time. Okay? Bye now.